The 11th play is the beginning of the breaking of the thrust, and it goes directly into the 12th or the 13th play. So, the 11th play, Jessica is framed on her left side. She comes to thrust, boink, there's the problem. The solution is I catch it with a fendente and I step across, and this is the 11th play. On the 12th play, he tells you to step on the sword and slice the throat with a false edge under the beard and return with a fendente to the arms or the hands. Let's have a look at that done smoothly. Drive it to the ground, step on it, cut the throat, smack the hands. And of course the fendente could come around that way if it feels more natural. The 13th play again follows from this, but the strike is done to the head. Amongst friends, we tend to practice this without stepping on the sword and just combining whatever combination of strikes seems most appropriate. Let's have a look from the other side. So, the 11th play, drive the sword to the ground, and you can step in without stepping on the sword. That's what's actually shown in this play. Okay? The 12th play, stepping on the sword, slice the throat and return with a fendente to the arms or the hands. And the 13th play, break it, step on it, strike to the head. Maybe she's got gauntlets on. Maybe she has a collar on. Who knows? So done reasonably smoothly and amongst friends. Drive it to the ground, don't step on it because swords are expensive, and make the strikes that make sense to you. The 13th play, I should say, is on the next page, folio 27 recto. Now, as a left-hander, thrust is coming from that side. Drive it to the ground, you can step on it with the left foot and it works absolutely fine. Of course, I'm being a little bit careful not to actually cut. And of course, you can do this play from the left side. Yeah, it works just fine. And we're going to need that for the 15th play, which is coming up in a minute. The next play on folio 27 recto, the 14th play of the second master of the zogho largo, crosses at the middle of the swords. It's sort of framed like a counter remedy and a counter remedy, but it's just the scholar doing the play because the counter remedy doesn't actually save the person. It's not illustrated as a successful defense against the breaking of the thrust. What's going to happen is, as Jess comes to strike, and I break it to the ground and I go to cut, she's going to lift her hands to parry. Okay, so that nice and slow. And when that happens, I drive that up, put my hilt over her forearm, grab my blade and drive that in. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I have complete control over both the sword and the person. So that again, nice and smooth. Mm-hmm. Ideally, I'll catch my crossguard underneath her blade. It's more comfortable for me, but it doesn't actually matter. Comfortable?
No.
Good. One more?
Yeah.
So nice. And of course, you could just continue. You feel like I absolutely have you here, right?
Yeah.
Not much you can do.
No.
As a left-hander, I'll be breaking the thrust. The thrust is coming from that side. And if she parries that by lifting the hands, I can get the exact same technique. Okay, you can see that better from the other side. So you hook in there, grab, send it in. And once more smoothly.